Yeah. So what? It's your boy, Bits and Bobs. Yes, people, how we doing? It's another episode of Bits and Bobs meets. Now, I was gonna say his name, but actually, I call him Big Bro, and he's my friend. Some might say he's a mentor to me, which I think he is. I think he's a pioneer for what he's doing in Scotland right now. Marvin Bartley, Livingston FC's captain. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm well. I'm very well. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I hope you're resting. Recovery after your win yesterday.
Yeah, no, exactly. We've got another massive game on Wednesday, so it's always the same way. Water, keep hydrated. A lot of carbs in and stuff today, and then a lot of sleep today. I've been in and out of sleep. Woke up for the Arsenal game. I wish I never, but yeah, I'm resting up, man.
Do you know what? Yeah, we've got to talk about Arsenal, man. We've got to talk about Arsenal. So real talk, Arsenal. I mean, what's the question? I mean, what's going on? That's a 6-pointer, Marvin. You've just lost a 6-pointer.
Imagine that. You're saying no disrespect to Burnley because obviously I played there, but Arsenal v Burnley, you're calling a 6-pointer. That's the first problem, huh? That's the first problem that the club has. I'm in shock. Honestly, the way things have gone, I'm in shock. It just
see when you say you're in shock, are you in shock because they lost? Because obviously they've been losing all season, but are you in shock because they lost to Burnley?
I'm in shock. Probably not this game as an isolated result. I'm in shock with the way it's been of recent. Listen, as football fans, I'm a football fan as well. Forget about my profession and whatever else. I'm a football fan. I look at Arsenal and I look at what Arteta was doing at the start or trying to do, and what's going on now. I just think the club's in trouble. From a player's point of view, and I'm seeing what's going on social media. We've got Guendouzi put something up on Instagram, and then you've got players comment on it. Yep. Have you seen that? As if they're saying they're locked up as well. The new centre half he signed from France. You've got Pepe saying the same thing. You've got Ozil. Him and Piers Morgan constantly going at it. There's a huge divide. And I'm just like, I don't think Arteta can get this back. I really don't. And it sounds strong, but I don't think he can. I think he wants to rule with an iron fist, and when you do that and you're winning, perfect. Look at Mourinho at Tottenham. Gareth Bale on the bench, and he's I know he was ill today, but the last few weeks Premier League he's been on the bench and he's happy as Larry. The team's winning. You're up there first, second in the league. Everything's brilliant. Man, very strict and whatever else. Bale's came from Real Madrid where he wasn't playing and he was really unhappy to Tottenham where he's not playing, but the team's winning, so he's probably understanding the reasons why he's not playing.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you look at Arsenal. And the man just trying to rule with an iron fist, and we're not winning games. Because nobody wants to be ruled like that. Let's be honest. Nobody wants to be ruled like that long term. You can accept it if you're winning. We can all accept stuff in life if it's going our way. When it's not going your way, you look for holes in it. And that's what we're doing now with Arsenal, with all the players and whatever else. And Arteta can't now call on these players to help him. You saw Eddie came on today. I think it was maybe the 83rd minute he came on. And even when Arteta's giving him instructions, he's a frustrated figure. He's a young boy, and he's not even like he's not interacting with him. There's no interaction.
Yeah, I know. It was an interesting intake just looking at that, and I was thinking, this guy is just thinking, yeah, whatever, just let me go on the
pitch. Exactly. I should have been on the pitch a long time ago.
Exactly.
I'm not playing games, as it is, and I think it's going to be hard for Arteta to recover. Listen. I hope he does. I think he's a very, very good manager, but I just think he's got that that mindset. I don't know if you ever listened to Rio Ferdinand when he talks about what they had at Man United, where it was basically fit in or do one, basically, want for better word. And I think Arteta's got that, but you can have that when you're winning. When you're losing, there's fit in or do one. Well, actually, I'll do one, and I'll just sit here like Ozil's doing and pick up my money. And it's horrible, man. And Arsenal are in big trouble. They're in big trouble.
It's funny that you've just listed so many problems that's wrong with Arsenal right now, in the sense of the players that have been sent away, Twitter. You're probably the best creative player at the club doing up Twitter admin.
Just coming at them. And a massive problem. And people talking about Aubameyang signed his new contract and he's gone cold or whatever. The team's not doing well. You see, when Arsenal were doing well or doing better under Arteta, my massive problem was Aubameyang's our best player and he's playing left wing. Why is he playing
wing back? Actually, to be honest,
he's basically defending, weren't he? Like all his energy was being used going back the way. So I'm thinking, why are you doing that? He's our best player. So no matter what happens, he's the first name on the team sheet. He goes in the strongest position. You know,
exactly.
if he's left his whole career, he wouldn't be at Arsenal. He wouldn't have been at Arsenal now. And now we're struggling, trying to put him up front, and he's played a couple of games, and people are, oh, he looks rusty. Oh, listen, he's been playing left wing back, as you said. So what do you want from the guy? It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, man.
For me as a Man United fan, it's great entertainment, to be honest, because there's nothing. There's nothing really much to shout about, is there? Getting beat from a team called Red Bull, and then the most boring ever Manchester derby. You know, we'll keep it on Arsenal. I think the thing I want to conclude about Arsenal is what happens now. I tweeted saying that Jose Mourinho is showing Sam Allardyce around North London.
Wow.
But to be fair, though, if you look on historic clubs, if they are in Arsenal's position right now,
don't you dare! I don't even want to hear this. No chance. Come on. You know what I think that needs to happen at Arsenal? I think the board needs to either come out and say that Arteta's the man, and we're planning for the January window, and we're planning for the summer window. So let the players know this man's not leaving the football club. Because I think at this moment in time, what you've got is, you know, and I'll let you know something that happens at some football clubs. If you're not getting on with a manager, players say, well, I'll outlast you. I've got a 3-year contract here. We know managers change every year to 18 months. So I'm going to outlast you. So you're not playing me. We've got a problem. You're saying, go and do this, Marvin. I'm like, well, listen, I've got 3 years on my contract, 4 years on my contract. I'll outlast you. So don't worry about me. This is all going to fall apart. And in the meantime, whenever you drop a player, I'm going to go to that player and say, why are you not playing? You should be playing ahead of him. And I'm going to create my own little team that are all going to be against you. So the board needs to go out and say, listen, he's the manager and we're going to back him. The only way he leaves his football club is if he decides to. He's got a 3-year contract. He's here for the duration. Now, if you're not playing for 6 months because you think, oh, manager's going to change or whatever, I know he'll change, he's struggling, the board aren't saying anything, it's slightly different. If you're not going to play for the next 3 years because the board have told you he's going to be there, listen, people soon start falling into line. And I think that's what needs to happen. Back him or sack him, I suppose.
But I think that's it. And like I can't say anything better. However, but on the contrary, I think they won't sack him because financially he's a very cheap option. And the owners aren't really fussed about football results, are they? Because if they really were fussed about football results, you could say Wenger probably would have went a lot quicker and Emery probably wouldn't have lasted as long as he did, you know? The problem that you have now is just that you can have success off the pitch with commercial sponsors and stuff. However, it doesn't mean shit if you're going to be in the championship. Literally. And I'm not even trying to troll anymore.
No, you are. You're trolling, man. You're trolling.
There's a comment here. Arsenal.
The thing is with Wenger, when he was there, he ended up leaving because the fans stopped going to the games. Now, the lucky thing is, I think Arsenal lost their last 4 home games, but there's been no fans in there up until today. So imagine that stadium's full. The pressure's totally different. Because you've got a full stadium, to people not going to matches, to boos around the stadium, chanting they want, the manager out or the board out or whatever, and I think they'd have been a lot quicker in making a decision. I think at this moment in time, they're not going to have full fans for a while yet, until everyone's obviously had the vaccine or whatever else. So I think that's buying them time. But something needs to change, and I just don't know how many allies Arteta has in that dressing room. And when the chips are down, you need those allies because, as I said to you, players can run clubs sometimes, especially clubs of that size, not by picking the team, but by just not performing and not caring.
Yeah, and it's evident in that. I mean, there's a culture of it in some other big clubs in London that wear blue player power, So, 100%. My last question, Arteta, is if you are the owner right now, do you get rid of him now? And if not, why? If you say no, why?
Yeah. It depends what was set out at the start of the season. I think
because he did win the FA Cup, and technically that buys him a season, right?
And I think Arsenal are playing well. I think it buys them a season if they're going in the right direction. I think they were playing well. I think they've fallen off it obviously because they've had the player troubles and kind of whatever else. If I'm the board, and then I'm gonna back him. I'm going to back him. Because I think, keep changing managers all the time. Listen, Arsenal, we have to accept it. At this moment in time, we're a mid-table team. We're a mid-table team and we're going through a transition. So the last thing we need to do is sack a manager, bring in a whole, new backroom staff. And maybe a manager's got a slightly different philosophy. He's the one that 5 players out, 5 players in. We're starting again. We're not a great team, let's be honest. We're a mid-table team. If we can nick, Europa League position, I think it might be top 8, then so be it. And that's where we're at. So that's the first thing, being honest with yourselves and being where you're at. But I think I would back him, and I'll come out publicly and back him. And as I said to you earlier, say he's got a 3-year contract, whatever it is. He'll be here for the duration unless he decides to leave. Let's keep moving forward.
Talking about backing, there's a certain club in Manchester who the board have came out and said they're going to back him. That's my club, Man United. Let's give you something to laugh about. Manchester United got knocked out the Champions League by a team called Red Bull. They probably performed the most boring draw ever. No one will get that 90 minutes back. I mean, what's your thoughts on the situation at Man United?
I think Man United have got very good players. I just don't think the manager knows what the best 11 is with the best shape. I think some of the signings have been bizarre, to say the least. The boy you brought in from Ajax, Van der Beek is his name?
Van der Beek, yeah, Van der Beek.
Very, very good player, but he's not what Man United need. He's not going to fit into what Man United are doing. He's not going to play because, you've got Fernandes and you've got Pogba who can play in there and whatever else. He's not going to play games. So why spend the money on him? And that makes me think, was it Solskjaer who's signing these players? Was there someone behind the scenes saying, no, we want him, we're going to sign him? I think that money could have been better used elsewhere. But I think United have got a good team. I think you got a free Pogba as well. Just let him go and play, man. Just let him go and play.
Do you know what? That's a good segue. Listen, Pogba's my favourite player. Of his generation, he's my favourite player. He's my favourite player in Man United. And I actually do think he's our best player. I know people will say Bruno this, Bruno that, but look, overall, Pogba's our best player. And, let's not say smart manager. I won't attack him personally, but I think any competent manager will look to play both of them. And I just think that obviously, I mean, we'll get onto the media soon, but I just think that if you want to win your football matches, you play the best possible team, and it includes playing your best players. Now we can say he's a World Cup winner, but he did win the World Cup. He didn't win it himself. Okay, so let's take that argument. But he's your best player, and I think the same as you. I personally think Van der Beek was bought because 2 things. I've got 2 conspiracies. I think Paul Pogba was leaving.
Yeah.
And they thought, let's get Van der Beek in now on the cheap. So when he does leave, we have a ready-made centre mid. Or they tried to get Grealish, and Van der Beek was a cheaper option. So that's the only thing. Or the third one is that the board took it on themselves to buy this player because he fits into the economical structure. He's young. We could potentially sell him again in 5 years' time and make profit on him. So, because I just don't think Ollie has said to the board, get me Van der Beek. I just can't see it.
Yeah, he's an attacking midfielder where you have Bruno, like you said, and you've got Pogba where he is at his best and not playing. Why'd you bring in another player to complement things? He's not getting minutes. So I don't understand, you say, if he does well, you can sell him on for profit, and that board might be thinking that. But in order to sell him on, he has to play games. If he comes to Man United like 5 games each season and over the next 3 years, his value's going one way, and that's down. So, I agree with you. You've got to find a way of playing Bruno and Pogba higher, and it's probably playing a 4-2-3-1 and asking Bruno to play off the left but be narrow and play Pogba in the 10, and then have someone on the right who's going to play wide right, and then have obviously you've got the centre forward as well. And you've got to build your team around those two. I think they're unbelievable. You saw them linking up at times as well.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. I don't like Man United. I support Arsenal, but I'm a lover of football. When you see those two, wow. But then, I think people have got a problem with Pogba, and he's playing deeper. Take them defensive responsibilities away from him. He's so good as a player attacking. Get other people to defend for him and let him do this thing in the final third.
What's your thoughts on, there's a new generation now, they talk about stats. Okay, now, I think me and you are similar in age. I'm 31. I think you're a couple years older, are you?
I'm 21, bro. I'm 34, yeah, I'm 34.
So yeah, you're still young, okay.
Yeah.
But so we grew up in the same age generation of football, right? Where it wasn't stat padding, as they say. I mean, people say, "Oh, his stats and stuff," and that kind of makes me think: do you watch football, or
Yeah.
do you just look for the full time stats? Because you know, I saw someone break it down on YouTube, and an assist these days is basically I could pass you the ball, you could add up 5 men and score,
Yeah.
and then I get an assist.
An assist, yeah.
That's not an assist when I grew up.
Yeah. You have to be directly involved with the goal.
Exactly.
Involved. So you're putting it across the 6-yard box and you're putting it in, or through ball, something like that. Yeah.
I just think that and all these pass completions, I'm thinking, well, I've watched this midfielder pass it 5 yards there, 10 yards there, get it back, pop it 5 yards, and you're telling me he's got 90% pass completion.
Yeah. You're thinking,
so I watch football on the eye, right? And on the eye, Pogba's still our best player. And I was having this argument with a guy on YouTube, and he was saying to me, actually, Pogba's stats in the last 4 years that he's been at Man United, he's still been the best player. Top goal scorer, top assist. And he said to me this. He said, would you not be frustrated if you came here and you were played out of position and you had Jesse Lingard playing in number 10 or Andres Perez playing in number 10, and then they buy Bruno when you're injured to play in a position you don't get to play?
Yeah.
I'm with you, Marvin. They need to just let him go. I want him to stay. Obviously, that's selfishness, but I want him to go and flourish and just shut everyone up. Just be like, this is what you could have had. This could be you.
No, definitely. I don't think all the problems are just Man United. I think Pogba has got, the issue with the agent the other day, saying that he's believing distancing himself away from what his agent said. I'll let you know right now, Paul Pogba knew what his agent was releasing. He knew what was being said. And that's it. No, there's no agent in football that has Paul Pogba as a client that's going to go out there and say something about Paul Pogba knowing what you're going to say. Where potentially, if Pogba moves, that agent's going to get probably £10 million. Now, who's going to buy for £10 million to make a comment, a throwaway comment, what he said? No one's going to do that. Pogba knew what was going on. So it's one of two things. Pogba does want to leave, or he wants a new contract at Man United. Because I think Man United just triggered his year extension, didn't they?
Yeah.
And thinking the hair's on whatever money, or this player's on whatever money. I want my money up. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to create something where other clubs then look and think, well, Pogba might be on the move now. It can work for him either way.
But that's nothing new, though, is it? To be honest, when you think about okay, we can take away tweeting and stuff. Yes, okay. However, a player angling for a better contract, alerting other clubs,
Yeah, that's the norm. Yeah, it's the norm.
I said to a guy today, and I said, who would you be more angry at, your agent or the club? And he looked at me like, what do you mean? I went, well, I've hired the agent to get me the best deal. So far, he's doing his job. Yeah. Now, I could have hired him also to say to him, get me a better club. Now, if you compare Raiola to Man United have mistreated Pogba. Okay? And don't get me wrong, Pogba, there's some things Pogba does. Yeah. And I think to myself, I love you, man, but,
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think they need to free him when it comes to haircuts and dancing, because that's just bullshit, to be honest. I mean, we've got guys that are...
Dance if you're winning. If you're losing game, I don't want to see you on Instagram dancing. Getting flash. I don't want to see that. So if we're winning, and we're winning the Premier League, and we're winning the Champions League, go and dance. If I'm the manager, I'll dance with you. But if we're not winning, let's get this. Let's concentrate on our football. And if you want to dance, then dance out the cameras there. Dance in your house, in your mansion, when there's no cameras on you, because he does have a responsibility. Because if I'm a manager and I'm seeing a player dancing around like an absolute fool and we're 8th in the league, then there's a huge problem. I support Arsenal. If I start seeing Lacazette and Aubameyang and Ozil and I don't know, Holding and Tierney, you might have a few moves, Scottish moves. If I see these boys dancing and stuff on Instagram, I'm not entertaining that as a manager. I'm like, listen, we're losing games. Forget all that. You can have your fun when we're winning.
Exactly. And do you not think? Do do you not think that that's what I'm saying about generation? Because I couldn't imagine. Well, I'll just use an example. I couldn't imagine you doing that because one, you've got a duty of care for yourself and also duty of care of the club, and knowing that fans look to you and be like, "What are you doing?" Like, you know,
look, duty of care for yourself, there, haven't you? Like,
what 100%.
What is he? As I said, if you're winning games, listen, if Livingston go and win the Premier League and win the Scottish Cup and whatever else, no one's going to care about me dancing, and I wouldn't care, you know. But as I said, if you're not winning things, then nobody wants to see it. When France won the World Cup and he was doing it, everyone was enjoying it, everyone was embracing it. You know, fans get frustrated when you're not performing, we're not winning, and yet you're still doing this same stupidness. Why not do it without the cameras there? The reason you're doing it with the cameras there is because you want everyone to see it.
Exactly.
So then I take it as a disrespect because, you know, and let's be honest, fans aren't rich. No, it's in their blood to support these football teams, to go all around the world if they're in Europe or, you know, up and down the country if it's domestic football. So I can't be working, you know, all week, you know, spending 60 quid on a ticket or whatever. Like, I could probably put that money to better use. And your missus is saying, what we could do with this? And you're like, do you know, I'm going to the football. And I've seen you on Instagram dance around when we lost 2-0. Nah, I'll turn to great cleaners when you do that, mate. No chance.
No, I agree with you. I do agree. And like, it's refreshing to hear that as well, to be honest. Segueing into the media. Okay, I know we're talking about Paul Pogba and the media, like, for example, I'm going to say the English media here to be exact, because it is really the English media that do this kind of coverage, and it's the coverage on black players and white players. And I know me and you, we talked about racism in the summer, I believe, actually, yeah. And we've talked about that. So, like, let's change the convo bit in the sense of, what's your thoughts on the media coverage? Because I mean, me and you can read something and we know what they're saying. When someone that doesn't look like me and you can read it and probably be like, yeah, he's lazy, or, you know, he's a virus, or he's a problem, he's a troubled teen, or something like that. His attitude, which are all the buzzwords really they use for black players. What's your thoughts on it when you read stuff like that?
It depends. If you like, you gonna give me an example? You just mean
I'm gonna. So, for example, the Raheem Sterling situation was very, very I think eye-opening for a lot of people. But I'm gonna bring it a bit closer to home. But recent Mason Greenwood and Foden when they were trying to do double dates with the Iceland girls. Yeah, and the languages they used for Foden was completely differently when it came to Greenwood. You know, they called him Man City starlet, you know, and then they called Greenwood a troubled teen, you know, a flashy Manchester United troubled teen in trouble with England. Now, stuff like that, I'm thinking, well, they've done the same thing, yet the headlines read differently. Also, I'll ask you on that first. What's your thoughts on that? Then I'll ask you about Greg Clark's comments, because I don't think I've actually spoke to you about that.
Well, in saying that's it's wrong, isn't it? You've got two young boys who, you know, got the world at their feet, so to speak, playing for two of the biggest clubs in the world, and they've made a mistake. That's what it is. It's a mistake that young boys have made. You know, when we were 19, 20 or whatever else, if we would have had, you know, the money and the everything else that these boys have got, you know, maybe we'd have made more mistakes than they have. In regards to the media and what they wrote and how they put it, I felt was wrong. As I said, you know, you've got two boys who've both done the same thing, but I think the English media like to do that. They like to bring players down before they're anybody. You know,
especially English players, right?
Yeah. Foden and Greenwood, two fantastic talents. You know, probably two of the best talents their age and probably around the world. And I think, you know, they were probably harsher on Greenwood. And I want to put it down to this because he came on the scene. He probably scored that many goals, and he's probably viewed a little bit higher than Foden. Yes, Foden's, you know, fantastic player and whatever else, but as you said, we live in this stat world, and Greenwood had scored, you know, however many goals at the back end of last season, and, you know, started the season well. But there would be an element of it is, you know, they are going to look at his color and say these things. You know, if you're a young black boy doing something, you come from a poor background, as Foden has. You know, he comes from one of the roughest places in North England. You know, and he's done extremely well to move his family out of there. And you know, I don't actually know where Greenwood come from. I don't know his background, but you know, you're going to be looked at as a troubled teen, and it's disappointing. It's disappointing, you know, and people are waking up to it and seeing it now because it's been going on for far too long. But you know what? Also, and I'm going to say this, sometimes I think they do it on purpose. The paper. Sometimes I definitely do it for clickbait, for people to talk about it.
Yep.
And that's the world we live in. It's a horrible thing to say. And do these people actually look at them and say, you know, I'm going to be racial to one and not the other because of the color of his skin? Maybe not. But am I going to do this to create controversy, but to people to come onto our website to retweet it, to talk about it? Let's be the first one to release it. And in this day and age now, let's be the first to release rather than just to release the truth. That's how media works. That's how social media works. We'll see it in WhatsApp group chats. How many times your mate said something in there, and an hour later, the story's totally different to what they said? But there's always that one person that wants to release things first. They want to be the first to say, "Oh, I told you. You know, I saw this first." And that's what the media do. You know, that they play on these kind of things. So, are they being racial? The people who are writing it, I don't know them, so I can't call them racist. But are they doing it for 100%? I think that's what they're doing to create controversy because it doesn't come back to them. It doesn't come back to them. You know, if it's a Daily Mail or whatever, you'll read it and they'll be like, "Oh, you see what's in the Daily Mail? See what's in the Daily Mail? Oh my God, that's so bad. What's happening? You're talking about it's free advertisement." That's how these people. This is how these organizations run. You know, so
it's sad. It's sad. Yeah. It's sad, and it's facts. And then you know how you said about like it doesn't come back to them, and you also said just there that you know, with you don't know these people personally. Okay, imagine if you were the player they're talking about mentally, right? Obviously, locked down. People have been isolated. You know. Players who don't live with their families have probably been living on their own because they have to shield from people. So mentally, I mean, what do you think this does for players? You know, like for me, because for me, mental health is massive, obviously for everyone. But I think that mental health in the black community is not really spoken about. And obviously, if you're a footballer, you know, in fact, let's not even say a footballer. If you're in the eye of the public, okay, you're seen as you have to be invincible or you know unbreakable. However, you guys are you're just human beings. You know. So how would you have dealt with that yourself, and how do you think would it affect their mental health? Because I think it would personally.
Well, yeah, of course it will. Of course it will. But you know, the media and people on Twitter and social media don't care about somebody's mental health until something bad happens. You know, let's be honest. You know, we've seen people take their own lives who are in the public eye, and we've seen people say, you know, which is tragic, and you know, it costs nothing to be nice. You know, and if you've got nothing to say, then if you've got nothing nice to say, then don't say anything at all. And that lasts days, and then you'll see these same people go and comment. You know, if one of their players misses a penalty or whatever else, and they'll be abusive to that player. Now, as you said, you know, as a I can only talk from being a professional footballer. You know, I worry about the future generations that the footballers coming through because it's difficult because you know you're easily accessible. You know, people can get at you and people can send stuff to your inbox and whatever else. And players will say to you, "Oh, I don't read that stuff." They do read that stuff. You know, and there's look at Twitter. There's so many. You know, how easy it to create an account. I could create an account now. Come on, find your Twitter, abuse you, and then there's no repercussions. You know, there's no repercussions to it, and I'll just delete that account, and you'll never ever know it was me.
Yeah.
Someone in Australia right now who I've never met in my life, and never know it was me. And do you know what the problem is? You know, so many times I see comments of people being, you know, downright disrespectful to others and being horrible to others, and the amount of likes they get, and that's what people are doing it for. People are doing it for, oh, look how many likes I got on this. I'm gonna call this player whatever. Look how many likes I'm gonna get. Now, how disturbing is that? Not only that one person can go and write that, but then thousands will like, you know, that tweet. You know, I'm going to take it to there was a young footballer that was trying to do kick-ups. And the poor boy, you know, he was doing kick-ups and the ball was bouncing. I think he did 3 or 4 and the ball was going everywhere. I think it was a Man United support. I think a Man United player had done tricks during the lockdown and this boy was trying to replicate that. and someone came on, and the boy was about 5 or 6 and said, "Oh, you know, you're rubbish, blah blah blah, whatever," and it had thousands and thousands of likes. And this is somebody abusing a young boy. So yeah, we're talking about color now, but just talking about a young kid, an innocent kid, and someone's gone out of their way to say you're rubbish at football. You know, you're crap. You're never going to make it. And then not only that, thousands of people have gone on and liked it.
Agreed with it.
Yeah, what's going on? This is the world we're living in, though. You know, people want to be horrible until somebody does unfortunately take their own life, or somebody does, you know, have a breakdown. Then all of a sudden you want to be I hope he recovers, or hope she recovers, or I can't believe what's happened. Like, come on, as I said, if you've got nothing nice to say, then just stay off.
Don't say it all. And I say to everyone, why is it when someone dies, everyone, the same people that were bullying them or saying nasty things, come out and tweet a picture, you know, RIP, was so... They always have nice things to say, you know, and I grew up in a time where if you didn't have anything good to say, you didn't talk at all. And it's true, people do it for likes. And what I'm finding from YouTube and obviously Twitter, people find controversy and negativity more entertaining than the actual truth. Like you said, no one wants to... It's always someone who wants to be the first person to release something. And when it comes to like comments, it's always the negative ones I seem to see. You know, I go on my Twitter feed and I'm like, really? Is that what this person that I follow is liked? Because, you know, on Twitter, it shows you what the people you follow like. And I'm thinking to myself, I've unfollowed people. I'm thinking, if you like that, I don't really want to see that. And I don't really want to be in contact with people like that.
Yeah. I think a lot of it, you know, when you look at it, the sort of people who are writing these comments and being horrible to people are people that are not happy in their own lives. You know, you never see, like, I don't know, say a player does something and it's absolutely terrible, taking it back to football. You would never see Ronaldo or Messi come and comment on there. Two of the greatest players to probably ever play the game and say, that was crap, what are you doing? Or, you know, say a lot stronger stuff than that. It will be, you know, Fat Dave from down the pub who's never played a game in his life, who, you know, was meant to have a trial at Celtic or Rangers when he was 10 or 11, but he hurt his knee and then he couldn't play anymore. It'll be him coming on and saying, you know, and being absolutely horrendous towards the player. You know, so that's one of the things. And I always say to young boys, you know, look at the person who's actually saying this stuff to you. You know, it doesn't make any difference to you. And that's why, you know, when things aren't going well, you know, whatever football club I'm playing for, and people want to say stuff to me, I ignore it. And when things are going well, people want to be like, oh, well done, pats on the back. I ignore it, you know, because those people aren't in my life. So if you're within my close circle and you're giving me an honest assessment of what's going on, and how I'm playing, I can take that on board all day long. I've got board to take that on board. But if you're someone I don't know and you want to abuse me because we've lost and you thought I've misplaced the pass, then whatever. But then if you want to pat me on the back and say, oh, well done, you know, you've been doing really well at the moment, I don't care what you have to say. You know, your opinion means nothing to me. If you want to be that person, I've got no time for it. And listen, I'm all for on social media. I interact with as many people as I possibly can. But as soon as people start getting negative, I've got no need to interact with you. You know, there's enough people out there who want to say nice things and have good, honest debates that, you know, I'll spend my time with them.
Yeah, no, you're right. And you know, like, I'm learning to obviously, like, I grew up in Scotland, in Edinburgh, and like, you know yourself, Edinburgh's it's not as big as London or anything like that. So, you know, if you go to the certain places, you will be familiar with people's faces, if not names. And I'm now with like my new role in the council, you know, my wife has been stopped saying, oh, I saw your husband on the internet at work. And it's like, she's just like, oh, okay, cool, no problem. And like, I'm starting to think to myself, like, whoa, okay, there's certain things I can't do or can't say. But then, like, I always think there's always going to be someone who's not going to like what you're doing. And I've had it already, which is weird. And I was thinking to myself, I wanted to interact with them. I was like, I wanted to argue. But then my wife said to me, you know, you can't argue with everyone. You can't fight everyone. And the thing is that some people are just going to be there to troll. And then what I realized from the Twitter stuff that I was getting, because I used to have Twitter, and then I deleted it because I was getting like racially abused and stuff. And then like it wasn't even from real people. It was like from fake profiles, blah blah. You know, and I'm thinking to myself like, wow, do you really hate me this much, blah, blah? Like, how did you even find me? Like, do you know, like, have you just logged in to basically talk crap? And, you know, like, I've started going on this YouTube channel, right? It's called The Football Terrace, Marv. And it has, like, over 179 subscribers, right? And I remember my first day on it, and I saw one of the comments, and it said, Bob's voice is cringe, get him off. Scottish accent. Do you know what I mean? And this is one of my cool guys, one of my guys, Prime, big football fan as well. He's a football fanatic. And like I was thinking to myself, I've spoke for 30 seconds and you've commented, get this guy off. I'm thinking, Barv, right? I'm not gonna lie to you, that set me. I was thinking, whoa, really? So I went and watched it back to listen to myself, and I thought, no, shut up, Bobby. You've got a Scottish accent. How else are you supposed to sound? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
But there's things like that. You have to be thick-skinned. Like whatever I say online or I say to you in person or wherever, you know, if I've got an opinion on something, then there's a reason for it. You know, I don't say things that are just, you know, pop into my head. There's something behind it. So as I said to you, you know, if people want to have debates about, because people will disagree with some things I say, and I'll disagree with what people say, but you can do it respectfully.
That's
you know, I've had people who, you know, who probably hate me come on Twitter and have a debate with me, and they've been respectful, and I've been respectful, and we've not agreed on something, and we've not agreed in the end. But I've seen it more from their point of view than I had at the start. But I still don't agree with what they were saying, and they're probably the same for me. So it's about this whole education thing, isn't it? They've educated me a little bit more on, you know, their stance on things. I've hopefully educated them a little bit more on my stance on things. And we go about our day after that, and you know, everyone's happy. You know, there's a way of doing things. Like you said, if somebody says, no, I hate Marvin Bartley's voice, then okay, that's fine. Then don't listen to me. You know, and that's it. You know, I'm not going to debate you. I can't change it, so that's fine. So that's fine. You hate my voice, no problem at all. Don't come on and listen to me. Right, what's next? Arsenal are rubbish. Right now, let's get into this. You know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how you do.
No, 100%, and that's what I was, because I was just like, yeah, okay, cool. Then I thought to myself, actually, you're going to be seeing me more on this, so you either don't subscribe or you just subscribe and you shut up. Do you know what I mean? So I just stopped your voice. Pardon?
Or they get used to your voice.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? Like Prime, the guy who just commented there.
Yeah.
He's Nigerian, but he's Irish as well. He's got an Irish accent. So, you know, I'm sure he had that as well. So, like, I just thought to myself, I was like, no, like, I'm not gonna show them I feel down about it. I'm gonna be a bit more thick-skinned, because do you know the funny thing is, I just treat it like football. When you play football, you get called all sorts. Oh, you this or you that. Yeah. And that's from people that watch, never mind the people you're playing against. So I was just like, I treat it like that. I'm going to conclude on something positive, and that's yourself. You know, obviously we touched base here and there. We've not been able to sit down and stuff. Livingston, man, like, so I mean, I've got to ask, obviously, new manager bounce and stuff like that. How is it? You know, you got a good win. So, I mean, what are you thinking? Are you hoping for a top 6 finish? I don't want to put words in your mouth. You know,
of course not. Listen, as I always say when people say, like, what's the aim for Livingston? Stay in the Premier League. So a top 10 finish would be sufficient. But we're all ambitious rather as people. So we want to finish as high as we possibly can. If that means to get into the top 6, then, you know, perfect. But first and foremost is to finish, you know, within the top 10. And we started the season and we were disappointed within ourselves of how we started. And, you know, football's very unforgiving. You know, when you're on a bad roll, you know, things just constantly seem to go against you. And, you know, that resulted in the manager resigning not so long ago. And then since then we've gone on one cup game and 2 league games. And then we play in a huge quarterfinal on Wednesday night. So it's one of those things, you know, football, people come and go, and we were disappointed that the manager felt he had to resign. As captain, obviously, I was disappointed because, you know, I'm the leader kind of on the park, and obviously we weren't doing what he wanted us to do well enough, and that's why he felt that, you know, he can no longer take us forward. But you know, as I said, as bad as it sounds in football, you just got to keep going. You've got to bounce back very, very quickly, and we've done that, and we've picked up a little bit of form, but that has to continue. As I said, you know, we've got Ross County on Wednesday, and then a week.
Big game.
We've got Hamilton in the league. So yeah, we've picked up. We're doing well, but to answer your question, a top 10 finish is what we want, and anything from there is a bonus.
Perfect. Well, that's good. And listen, God willing, man, I hope you finish as high as possible. I couldn't find Livingston's Twitter account, so I followed them now. And obviously, I watch your games. I've told you that I've seen you challenge a few people, so it was a positive return for that one. Last question. The Old Firm. I mean, Rangers are showing consistency right now. I think it's clicked for them. Celtic are. It's interesting, isn't it? When one of them's doing good, the other seems to struggle, or just can't quite get over their hurdles. And it seems to be Celtic right now. I mean, what's your thoughts on this battle between them both, and how do you see the league panning out?
I think it's a brilliant battle for Scottish football. I think you've seen a new Rangers this season, and I'm a lover of football, so I don't just look at how results are going. When I see something going well, I try and dig a bit deeper, and I saw that during pre-season Rangers were doing shape 4 or 5 times a week. So yeah, they were working extremely hard, but then in the afternoons they'd walk through shape and whatever else, and you can see it in their play. Their rotations are fantastic, and Gerrard's got them playing to an awfully high standard. And it's one of those things, when you're winning games, the confidence is there, and what you're doing is working. And sometimes you win games that you would probably draw a season ago because you're just on this good run. So it's fantastic to see. The flip side for that is Celtic, that when you are stumbling and your arch rivals are doing ever so well, that pressure's put upon you even more. The magnifying glass is on you even more, and that's what I think Celtic are finding. But Celtic have won 9 league titles in a row for a reason, because they're winners. Within that football club, they're full of winners. They know how to win. They know how to win titles. And again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So yeah, we're in December now, but remember last season it's kind of the same. Rangers were absolutely fantastic leading up into the winter break.
Yeah,
and they came back, and then they just kind of hit a brick wall. So it's vital now that they draw on that experience when we do get into the early parts of next year, and they keep this going. They're going fantastic in Europe as well, which is brilliant for the country. This is healthy. This is what we want. We don't want one team running away with it ever. So Rangers are in front at the moment, but Celtic will be in there and saying, listen, if we win all our games between now and the end of the season, we win the league. So it's still in their hands. They've got enough head-to-heads to come to catch up. So it's one of those things. Just keep turning those results out if you're Celtic. Keep winning games. When we come to playing Rangers, if we can win them, all of a sudden, we've got 3 points more, and they've not got 3 points. So it's just, the gap's even tighter. That has to be their mentality. Rangers, just keep doing what we're doing. If you're a player there or a coach there, keep doing what we're doing. Don't get ahead of ourselves. One game at a time. Remember last season we were at this point and we let it hit a brick wall. That doesn't happen again. The squad, we've got a stronger squad now. Everyone look after yourselves. Let's win this league title. It's been long enough. Obviously 9 years or whatever that Celtic won it in a row. So let's win this and then start our own legacy going.
Well, you spoke very well there, and obviously I can't help. I need to ask about obviously your managerial job, because you do Livingston reserves. My friend Prime has said, Bobz, ask Mark if he's applied for the Arsenal job.
The job's up for grabs, Prime. So no, I haven't applied for the Arsenal job. No.
And then Sentiment FC says, big up Bitz and Bobz and big up Marvin. Respect to you, bro. He's an Arsenal fan as well, actually. So it's not a nice feeling for you both. How is the I see your Insta stories and stuff of coaching and stuff. How are you finding that with actually coaching and then training and then actually just being Marvin,
Yeah. I love it. I really, really do. I'm working with some fantastic young players. But one thing I kind of say to them, Marvin, the coach, is very different to Marvin, the player. So anything I've achieved in a professional game as a football player, that doesn't make me a good coach. And I think the problem that players have when they go from playing to coaching is that they think, oh, I was a good player, so I'm going to be a good coach. And they don't work at their craft. I'm starting at the bottom in regard to coaching, so I have to work extremely hard to try and get to a level that I want to get to. And I understand that. So when I go into there, I told the boys at the start, I'm going to make mistakes. This is my first managerial job. I'll make mistakes, but the mistakes that I'll make will be honest mistakes. And I'm big enough and honest enough for you to come to me and have the environment where you say, Marvin, I don't think that's working. As long as you've got reasons to back it up, I'm open for this things. You know, I'm always attempting to do my best, and I think my players will always, you know, try and do their best as well. So we have the relationship where if they think something's not working, they can come and speak to me, and if they can back it up, then I'll say, this is the reason I want you to do it, and then we'll come to a happy medium. It's all about winning, isn't it? So however we get from A to B, you know, from starting the game to 90th minute and we're winning the game, however we need to get there, I'm more than happy to get there. You know, I'm not one of those people that says it's my way or the highway. Because I said I'm just learning. So no, it's good. It's good. I'm enjoying it.
No, that's brilliant, and I'm happy for you. I remember when I saw the news, I was actually buzzing. I punched the air. I was like, yes, because I'm all for representation. So 100%, I'm very passionate about that. But listen, Marvin, I mean, I've got to look at this. Sentiment SC says, stay away from the Arsenal and other poison chalice in the league. No football instructor. 100%, 100%. I'll
fix it. I'm a magician. You know, 10 years to remember this in 10 years' time when I'm at Arsenal and we're winning that league title, and he told me to stay away from it. He'll be like, do you know what, Marv, you're all right. So that time will come. That time will come. First, I've got business to finish in Scotland, and then that time will come.
So here's a question for him, Marvin. Are you a carrot or a stick manager?
What's the difference between those two?
Yeah, sentiment. Can you elaborate on that, my friend? Because I don't even understand as well. We're about to wrap up, so try and get it in very quickly, my friend. We're just about to wrap up now.
It maybe means am I? Well, no, I don't know what he means. Am I?
I don't know what it means, to be honest. Carrot. I mean, I don't know.
Let's work out. It's got to be something in regard, obviously, the carrot and the stick. Am I the one that's chasing the carrot, so chasing the league title? Am I the one that's holding the stick and trying to lead people? That's what you mean.
Private just came out and said, give Marv a chance. Trust the process.
Tell them, that's what I'm talking about. Trust the process, mate.
Okay, guys. Listen, Marv, seriously, thank you so much again. I love you, man. Seriously, big up. Thanks for doing this with me as well. And no, I really appreciate it, actually, to be honest. And it's a shame about your club, unfortunately. But listen. On positive notes, you are healthy. Livingston are doing really well. Hopefully, you win midweek, and then mid at the week we'll win at the weekend. And yeah, man, I would love nothing more to see you lift the Scottish Cup again. To be honest,
exactly. Hopefully, it can
not any cup, to be honest.
Yeah, so anything, man, anything. I might just make my own cup up, the Marvin Cup, and lift it. I'll get different before I retire.
Is that just from a personal? Would that be the ideal scenario for you? No, obviously, you said top 10 finish, stay in the league. That is the objective, you know. Yeah. But if you were to have a lamp and rub it, and you had to ask a genie for one wish, footballing wise, and you couldn't pick Arsenal, staying in the Premier League, would it be Livingston trying to get a cup, or?
I think if I could rub a lamp, it would be Livingston getting into Europe somehow. I think if I could. Listen, it's a pipe dream at the moment because let's be honest, we're fighting relegation rather than looking the other way. But the league's that tight. Get a top 5 finish or manage to win a cup or whatever and get to Europe. I think if I could achieve something like that in the next 18 months before I kind of hang the boots up, then that for me would be a fantastic achievement. And it's not just for me, just for we're as a football club and players, we're a working class kind of team and boys, and the work ethic is second to none. So to achieve something like that and just to see the faces of some of the young boys, and obviously there's not a load of support, but some of the supporters, I think it would mean the world to them. And it's luckily when I say Europe, like the qualifiers or whatever, and luckily it's something that I've played in before, and it's a great feeling. So that would be, if I could rub a lamp, then that would be what I would like to happen.
Perfect. So Sentiment's got his comment in quickly. And it's basically what he's saying is carrot, reward behavior, good and bad. Reward good behavior or bad stick discipline with the naughty kids.
I would try and, I think he's obviously talking about football and he's probably talking about the Ozil and those players' situation. I would try and align them with what I'm trying to do. I'll try and, as we said, if you're winning games, everyone falls into line. You only get the bad kids when you're not winning games. So you know, as I said, you know, the journey is from A to B. A is the start of the match, B is the end of the match. I want to win it. So however we get to from A to B, it's not always going to be straight lines. It's going to be, you know, there's going to be hills you have to go over and speed humps and left and rights and whatever else. You have to be open. You have to be open if you're a manager to allow people to go their different routes. We're all from different backgrounds. We've got different things that motivate us. You know, I'm happy with that. Whatever motivates you, whether it's winning stuff, money, flipping girls, fame, you know, going on Instagram and getting your blue tick, whatever it is, I don't care. For us all to get these things, we have to win. For you to get more money, we have to win. For you to get more famous, we have to win. For you to get more birds when you go out on a Saturday night, we have to win. So just channel that all into going the same way. However you want to go about it. I think when you start saying, well, he's only interested in girls or he's only interested in money, and I'm saying, well, no, you got to do it for the club, for the badge. Nah, that's when things start going wrong. Whatever you need to do it for, mate, go and do it for. But as long as we get 3 points on a Saturday, we're all going to live a better life.
Amen to that. Amen to that. But listen, guys, there you had it. Episode 9 on Bitz and Bobz Meets. And today our special guest was Marvin Bartley. Please, guys, like, share, and also subscribe. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please take care and stay safe.